Hi everyone, my name is James Feeney. Welcome to or back to my channel. As the title will tell you, today we are digging into the Brady Tarot, the second edition, which just arrived for many who ordered it on, or ordered it through, or backed it, I should say, on Kickstarter. And it's been a really lovely process. I have to give a big thanks and shout out, I guess, to Emmy, who is the creator of the Brady Tarot. She had such a lovely process with this. It was so smooth and seamless. It happened all so quickly. She really just presented it as it was, kept us updated along the way, offered some really great add-ons, and made it a really fun and enjoyable way to go through a Kickstarter. As somebody who hasn't been through too many Kickstarters, I think this was the most fun and easy and streamlined. And so thank you, Emmy. I got to still even pick some extras, which I think is crazy, especially because it was only $35, which for an indie deck in general, even outside of Kickstarter, would just be, to me, on the less expensive side. So that was really awesome. She even took the time to sign the packing slip with my name. I can only imagine how many of these she had to do, so thank you. And she stamped it with that. Came with a really high quality, almost matte sticker of what I believe is the High Priestess card. Or yeah, this is the High Priestess card. I'm like 99.5% sure. And then this is the lino cut I got. It's really, really awesome on this almost rough, thick, textured paper. It says it's 39 of 66 apparently. I don't know if that pertains to like this exact printing or what. And then it has her initials and the date. And then you also get, or I got, I don't know if this will be part of like once it's released outside of Kickstarter, but a linen drawstring bag, which is really high quality, really nice, and it has printed the exemplifications of the four suits as they are in the Brady Tarot, and so I really like that. And I thought, because I do have the first edition and I really love it, that I would unbox this with you guys first, give you a peek at this, and then show a little bit of a side-by-side. I'm not going to walk through every card, but I'll go through some of the major differences. I don't have them pulled up on, say, a computer screen to know exactly what she changed, but to the best of my knowledge, the artwork is, the actual like prints on each one are the same. It's just borderless, and well, we'll get into that, but I thought it would be nice to show you guys a little comparison. And so this just arrived within maybe an hour or so, and I still have some daylight left, so I figured why not. So it has this little outer part, and it says that it's a 78 card artist deck of hand-colored lino cuts by Emmy Brady. A portion of the proceeds are donated to North American environmental and indigenous nonprofits, which I think is really great. I believe that was part of the first edition as well, which is amazing. And so, inspired by the animals and plants of North America, the Brady Tarot opens us to the living world where nature, science, art, and mythology all intersect in the wondrous variety of animals, plants, and spiritual stories. Through solidly, I can't speak today. Though solidly based in tarot tradition, there is quite simply nothing like it. Learn the deck and reading with it. Have it. Wow, I really can't read today, guys. Apologies, my allergies are also acting up, so my voice is probably not the best. Though solidly based in tarot tradition, there is quite simply nothing like it. Learning the deck and reading with it have changed my life. Give yourself to it, and I promise it will change yours as well. Rachel Pollack. Let's see. Including a full-length book written by Rachel Pollack. So I guess the book, which would have been, I guess it's been condensed to fit in this case. So we take off that, because this is like a wrapping that goes around the actual case. So we get this. It's glossy. This is like almost like a rose pet. Nah, not rose petally, but one of those really smooth, silky matte materials. And then this is glossed in a way that's really nice. Let's see. Oh, you get the 4 elements across the bottom, maybe. And it's signed in some sort of metallic silver marker, I think. And the back says, "A journey through the wilderness of spirit." So that's really cool. It comes off very smoothly. No issue there. Oh, so it's still gilded in gold. That's interesting. I wasn't sure. I honestly was not the best about keeping up with the very, very specifics. So I think there might have been a version, or at least at a time, where she considered doing a black gilding. I don't know if that's the actual case, so if it wasn't, I apologize. But I know that that was a consideration, I think, based on what I saw. So this is now the book, and I'll show you guys the other book shortly. But I like that it's this compact case. I really, really love the luxury experience of having this big wooden box, but at the same time, it does make it a little bit unwieldy to pull this off the shelf and try to go through it and open it all up. Whereas this, to me, seems a lot more easy and breezy, and it's just something that I would approach a lot more quickly and willingly. And so, like the first edition, you get that really high quality, unique gold gilding. It's not quite shiny or matte, it's somewhere in between, and it does have a bit of almost like glitter or sparkle to it. There's like high notes of flecks of things that are kind of just brighter than the standard gold background. And so we have that, and I believe the borders are different. Like I believe I'm gonna have to look at them to figure this out. But we'll go through the cards, and we'll do a little bit of a walkthrough of this one. Okay, so this is not the High Priestess. Wait, has some of the art changed? Now this is throwing me for a loop. Okay, it was always the Hermit. I feel like I have deceived you. Okay, so those were all of the cards. I believe that, I don't know, for some reason part of me wants to think that some of the artwork is different. And for those who actually know, you might be screaming at the screen telling me that the artwork is different. So for the first edition, I'll start by saying, because the book sits perfectly on top, that it's interesting that the books are like this. So they seem to be about the same. I mean, even the new one is a little bit thinner, if you can see that. So this is the new one. It's a little bit thinner, and it's a lot less surface area going on. So let me see how it's been written. So you can see that's about what the font looks like. We have this one. So I do think that it should probably contain, let's do like a card by card, not a card by card, but we'll pick one. So let's do the Mother of Horns. Let me compare. Okay, it appears to be the same writing, so you're not losing out on anything in the guidebook. Maybe the intro is different, although like it gets really quite into the meanings like right away. Okay, it's actually even the same in that little intro part. So as far as I could tell, the books contain the same information. This one's just a little bit bigger and printed larger in a larger way, with the text and font being a little bit larger. So they do contain the same information, which is helpful. It's all just really nice and compact in this really awesome box. And as far as the cards go, the second edition, while in a smaller, more compact box, is actually larger as far as the cards go. So you can see, I believe the first one is traditional tarot size, and the second edition is a little bit larger on all ends, wider and taller, slightly more tall than it is wide in terms of being upscaled. And we also have white borders on the first edition and black ones on the second. So it does give this more borderless appearance on the second edition, because a lot of that artwork and there are those darker tones, so the black just kind of, whereas we almost had two borders on the first one. We had a black border and then a white. So the card itself was smaller, and then even if we look at the artwork, the fact that there are two borders really makes it even smaller. So it's not just the difference of the size of the card, but that the artwork was almost upscaled by quite a bit because of the fact that now it's only one border really. The gilding is a little bit different, actually. Is it different? No, I think it's about the same. The new gilding's a little bit darker, I will say. So this is more of a deep gold, and this is more of a light gold, as far as I can tell. And the cardstock appears to be on the same sort of material. It's that same really thick rose petal finish, matte cardstock that is, I forget what, I'm not good with like GSM and all of that. I want to say anywhere between 350 and 400. I want to even say, yeah, I want to say 400 just because it is so thick, and it just, I believe it's probably about 400 if I had to guess. And so as far as finding differences, I believe that now that I'm looking, I think that all of the, yeah, because I remember that was the same High Priestess that we just looked at. Okay, as far as I can think, I believe that the artwork and depictions for each of the tarot were the same. If I find out and correct myself before I upload this, I will be sure to let you know by including something in the video. So we have that. And then also there's the suits, of course, which you can see are changed if you didn't already know. So we have, I believe it's feathers, horns, arrows, and roots. Am I correct? Feathers corresponds to the wands, as we saw. Horns to cups. arrows to swords, and then we get roots for discs, or pentacles, orbs, whatever you want to call them. And so I guess that pretty much sums up what this deck is. It's a really awesome experience. The gilding, the detail, all of it. I really appreciate the changes that she's made in just making the artwork larger, really giving us a more compact box to be able to make it more accessible and like easy to just reach out and grab and use. It's nice. I like almost that the gilding is a bit darker because it goes with the darker tones. I didn't even really try to compare the backs so much. So the actual design on the backs is pretty much the same, but it's been expanded, and instead of almost having that double border where it becomes, and then we have the white, it really just goes out to that single border, so it's just blown up and on a larger card. So that's really nice. And so I guess the way that I know that we can't read all the guidebooks, so I will just shuffle these on up a little, and we'll pull a random card, and we'll use that to investigate the guidebook for those who haven't seen or read anything from it. Okay, so we have 9, conflict. I believe this is 9 of feathers. And if it's not, I apologize. Okay, it is. 9 of feathers, conflict, and it seems like we have 2 hummingbirds and a cactus, or cacti if there's multiple. And so for this we have conflict, tension, strain, possibly overreaction to something in the present because of past experiences. This suggests that the conflict is not in the situation but in the person. The 9 may indicate a strain from having to defend yourself over a long period of time, a person worn out, tense, and ready to overreact to any challenge. It could indicate a feeling of finding it could indicate finding a less aggressive way to handle a problem or conflict. The feather suit has seen powerful creatures, such as the charging bison of the 7 or the hawk and falcon of the 6 and 8. Thus, it may surprise some to see conflict acted out by a pair of hummingbirds, one of the smallest creatures in the bird kingdom. But they appear charming, even magical, with their ability to flap their wings so fast they can hover in the air, but ferocious, and yet they are exactly the species Emmy Brady chose to symbolize harsh conflict, hummingbirds fiercely protect their food sources and will react aggressively to any possible competitor, no matter the size difference. The Aztecs believed that the strongest warriors became hummingbirds in the afterlife, where they would suck nectar for eternity. In the picture, a female Costa hummingbird tries to chase away an approaching male as she seeks to suck the juices from the flowering saguaro cactus. In Emmy's comments on the card, she cites the female's attack as a possible overreaction and links it to an experience of her own. When she lived in Brooklyn, she experienced the kind of culture of female harassment that has finally gotten so much attention. When she moved to Denver, she found herself liable to overreact to small provocations. Conflict as trauma can create tenacious fierceness in a person, but also leave her or him exhausted. The 9 of feathers may suggest that we look at how we handle conflicts and explore less aggressive reactions to real or perceived danger. Wow, okay. So we get an actual breakdown of, say, like what the card would generally mean in the suit. We get the story of the animal. We get the personal story of the author and why she felt that way in depicting this. So there's a lot going on here. I mean, of course, this was written by Rachel Pollack, but we do get Emmy's flair because she has clearly selected the depiction which is being described in the book, and we even get a little bit of her experience in why she would choose to, say, see the card through this lens. As somebody who also used to live in Brooklyn, Emmy, I know exactly what you're talking about. I am a man, but I did see what she spoke on. It's quite rampant everywhere, I should say, but of course in a city where there is a really dense population, instances in any sort of category are sure to arise frequently or more frequently than in more sparse populations. So I know what she's talking about. So harassment of all sorts. So yeah, this guidebook is really, really awesome. I mean, it's the same as the first one. I would say that I wasn't one to heavily reference the guidebook, although if you are somebody who really enjoys that story aspect and you like the animals and want a little background on them, all the better, because there is a nice bit on that. And so that's what you get there. We'll just pull a few cards to see what they look like all side by side. I will say that lack of border now, or the black border that's a single border, is a lot nicer than that white one. That created sort of a double border effect. So those are really beautiful. So so far in my experience, I would say highly recommended. I don't think that will change, as I know my experience, say, with the first edition was and is amazing. And this just really tweaked some things and was a big improvement in my opinion. So congrats, Emmy, on having completed this project even during these difficult times. There really wasn't even a delay in them having gotten to the backers, and from the time of shipping she just kept us all up to date and made sure it got to us, and all these little extras and all that attention to detail and kindness and having us be a part of the process. I can't thank you enough. I'm sure that many people cannot thank you enough. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe, and until next time, bye everyone.